Hi, good evening. I'd like to call to order the Township Committee meeting for Monday, November 10th. If you're willing and able, please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How is everybody on this Monday?
Great.
Okay, we're going to go on to the Open Public Meetings Act. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cranberry Press, Trenton Times, and Home News Tribune on January 17th, 2025, posted on the Township's website and sent to those who requested a copy of this notice. We will move on to roll call. Mr. Christopher.
Here.
Mrs. Obadawi.
Here.
Dr. Rogers.
Here.
Mr. Scott.
Here.
Mayor Kinnear.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're going to start our meeting with a very special evening this evening. It's a special night for us in Town Hall where we would like to formally recognize the service of Richard Callan to our community, and specifically his dedication to public service, volunteerism, and a commitment to the local government of Cranberry. I want to thank Richard's wife, Susan, and his two children, Amy and Michael, for joining us tonight. I also believe we have 4 of 5 Richard's grandchildren are in attendance this evening. Before I ask our TC members if they would like to say a few words, I think, Amy, you wanted to say a few words? Okay. You can just come up and sit here if you want, and then hit the button on the right.
And it'll stay red.
And it'll stay red.
Hello.
Hi. Perfect.
Okay. So do I need to? I have to.
Nope. You go right ahead.
Okay.
No.
So I think on behalf of my mom and the rest of our family, we want to thank everyone for just acknowledging my honoring my dad in the way that you've chosen to. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that. So Mr. J. Taylor sent me something that he had wished to read at the meeting, but he wasn't able to be here. So I'm just going to read what he wrote. So he says, every so often in a town like ours, you meet a person who seems to have the whole map of the place folded up in his back pocket and knows the exact distance between every tree. Someone who knows where the bends in the road are and how they got there. For me, that was Richard Callan. Rich was one of the sharpest men I ever met, not sharp in a showy way, more like a good pocket knife, steady, reliable, and always ready when needed. I only came to know him later in my life, and if I have one regret, it's that I didn't find my way to him a little sooner. Before I ever took a seat on the committee, I sat in the audience for over a year just listening and learning, and I'd find myself next to Rich and Dee Wallers. They had a kind of quiet presence about them. You could feel it in the room. When they stood up to speak, folks didn't talk over them. They listened. The committee didn't just let them speak. They asked for their thoughts because they'd been here, they'd seen it, and they remembered. When I was finally elected, my dad, who'd served back in the 90s, told me, make sure you talk to Rich. And well, he wasn't kidding. Some of the best lessons I ever learned in public service didn't happen under bright lights or in meetings. They happened out in the parking lot afterward. After a good meeting, Rich would nod and tell me so. After a rough one, he'd tell me where I got tripped up and how to fix it. He wasn't there to scold, he was there to guide, and he had a way of being right more often than not. Rich wasn't stubborn, but just with me. That was one of his finest traits. When we started talking about garbage collection in town, he didn't like the idea at first, but he went home, he studied it, he ran the numbers, and he came back with a whole different view. He wasn't guided by pride or position, he was guided by what was true. That was Rich. He believed in facts, he believed in thinking things through, and that every problem had a solution. That before coming to a solution, people needed to press and challenge it. And he believed this town deserved that same kind of care. And I'll tell you something, towns don't get built just by hammers and gravel, they get built by people like Rich. That's what Rich gave us, care, dedication, and thoughtfulness, and as a town, we're better for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I was very blessed for the first, I want to say over a year, my first year here. Rich was still attending meetings regularly. And I've told this to both of you that there was never a conversation that I walked away from him where I really didn't learn something. And it was just comforting to always see him sitting here. I feel like he was always milling over a topic. And he would joke when he saw me that he was going to give me 5 seconds head start to run before he went to talk to me, which I always appreciated. I never ran though. And he would always say, I've got something for you. I have something I want to talk to you about. But what I learned was it was not one thing. It never was one thing he wanted to talk to me about it. It would keep going and going. And I learned from it and appreciated it. So,
Thank you.
anyway, so I don't know if anyone else would like to tell a favorite story or anything or have any words.
I would love to share with you just a few thoughts. So first of all, my condolences to the beautiful family that have arrived here. I'm sorry that this is how I am meeting you all, but I feel like I have known Mr. Callan for a very long time. And I too, like Mr. Taylor, sat in the audience as a resident in town for a few years before I found myself on the committee. And Mr. Callan was a mainstay with us. And I did not know Mr. Callan. I just knew him as a presence of knowledge and a presence of solutions, always seeking solutions. It wasn't until much later that I find out that, he has a very professional and profound background that never came through because he just wasn't a proud man. He was a very practical man. And he at the core of him was really just a resident of Cranberry who loved this town, who wanted to see it succeed, even in his absence. And I felt every time I spoke to him, just like Lisa said, that I learned something more, but also I felt like I was speaking to an institution. I felt lucky that I had that conversation with him. And as much as I noticed Mr. Callan when he was here with us, I also noticed when he wasn't. And I feel that was around the COVID years. And we would look and we would say, something is missing from the room. Where is he? And I will also just reflect a little bit on who I believe was one of his very, very good friends, and that's Mr. Buonavolanta. And that was probably the first person I reached out to after Mr. Callan passed away, just to sort of say, you are missing a friend today. And so is Cranberry. And, thank you all so much for being here. And, Mr. Callan's spirit will always be something that I cherish. His knowledge will always fill these rooms. His voice is something that I will always remember, and his sweet little hat that he would wear walking down the street. And my deepest condolences to you all today.
Thank you guys for coming. And yeah, my condolences as well. Having been on the TC the longest, I probably spent more time with Richard here. I didn't know him personally, and pretty sure Richard would rather I never got elected to TC, but that's okay. And I remember the first few years I was on TC, I was like, this guy never stops, always on top of me. But then when he stopped coming, I was like, where's Richard? I need Richard here to sort of bounce things off and to hear what his views are. Because I recognize him. My father-in-law is an engineer, and I recognize in him an engineer's mind. And he just was so methodical, and he knew so much about town. It really was a resource for us in the TC. He has been missed, and he will be missed. And again, my condolences to you all.
I guess I issue my condolences in being the shortest member of the TC here. I did not interact with Richard Callan. However, hearing these stories and when we got news of his passing, everyone shared stories of his time here in this room with me and their experiences with him. And it really, you can hear it in my community folks' voices, right? They feel his absence. And I just want to wish my condolences. Thank you for showing us.
Hi, I'm Barbara Rogers, and thank you for sharing Richard with us for this many years. So yes, he was here constantly. I've been on the Township Committee now for 6 years, and everything that these guys experienced in this room with him, ditto. The area that I want to kind of focus on is he was the clock winder too. Very proud clock winder. And my husband, who is the longest continuous clock winder in town, had worked with him up there. And his precision and his knowledge was just unbelievable. And so, I wanted to mention the clock winder and also the zoning board. And I was the liaison this year, and boy, the questions that he asked at those meetings made me feel that the zoning board was in such good hands. And those are big shoes to fill. The questions that he asked, were just so on target, especially with the environmental questions he asked, very special to my heart. And I got to speak to him just recently before he passed, out in the parking lot, and you just never know how long, and they lasted a while, and it was, I just feel so rewarded by at least having spoken to him just before he passed. So my condolences. Thank you.
Yes, please.
So I was fortunate to have the opportunity to often deal with Richard and Debbie. I'm the township clerk. So I swore him in as clock winder. I did his oath for zoning board, and I was fortunate enough to have Richard as a poll worker. And I know Jill can attest to the conversations, the early mornings, the coffee clutches, and having some very interesting conversations. And if we disagreed, we agreed to disagree. He always was a wealth of information, and he was one of my first supporters when I came over as clerk. So he's going to be very missed, and my condolences to you.
So I need a motion to read Cranberry Township Resolution R11. Sorry, I need a motion to read Cranberry Township Resolution R11-25-137, a resolution honoring Richard Callen.
I will gladly do that resolution.
Can I get a second?
I'll start.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to roll call before you start that. Okay. So let's do the procedural part. Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Mrs. Obadawi?
Yes.
Dr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Kinnear?
Yes.
Obviously unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. Whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Cranberry wishes to honor the passing of Richard Callen, a longtime resident and active member of the community. And whereas Richard served in numerous volunteer capacities within Cranberry Township, including a member of the Clock Winding Committee, the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and the Development Review Committee. And whereas Richard also served as a dedicated poll worker for Middlesex County, and whereas for decades Richard regularly attended Township Committee meetings and remained actively involved in the community. Whereas Richard will be remembered for his thoughtful contributions, involvement, and dedication to the Township of Cranberry, and whereas the Township Committee extends its sincerest condolences to Richard's family and loved ones and joins them in honoring his life and legacy. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the Township of Cranberry hereby honors the memory of Richard Callen and recognizes his years of service and commitment to the community. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be presented to the family of Richard Callen as an expression of the Township Committee's condolences. Thank you. And we have a very special dedication for any of you that were lucky enough to be here when Richard was here. He sat in the same chair. And if you sat in that chair before he got here, there was a look. We had to figure out how to manage it and handle it. But we always found a way to politely ask somebody to get up. And so with that, I'd like to present the family with this resolution, but people also, doesn't mean nobody can sit here. It just means that this chair, we added a little plaque to loving memory of your husband, Richard Callen. So he is always here with us, which is wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for that time. Okay. Do we have any additions or changes to our agenda this evening? Sorry. Does anyone from the family wanted to speak? I'm sorry. Okay, that's, okay, sorry. We had to talk previously, so I didn't think so. I just, sorry, I didn't ask again. Okay. Do we have any additions or changes?
No.
Oh, yeah. We moved it up to the top of the agenda, so unlike your husband, if you do not want to be entertained by a township committee meeting that will drag on, you don't know ever how long, but you are welcome to stay and absolutely free to go. Okay, so you're
We're trying to take it easy on you.
Yeah. Thank you, Barbara. No. Okay. And at this point, I'm pretty sure we don't have any additions or changes to our agenda.
You can ask again, but probably,
Okay.
probably
I'll ask again, just to be safe. Okay. Oh, yeah.
It came up great.
It came up terrific. Yeah, that's really nice. That's great. Thank you for doing your trade.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So a little unveiling
Exactly.
added to it.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from October 27th?
so moved.
Second.
Okay, we're gonna move on to roll call. Mr. Christopher,
Yes.
Mrs. Elbadawi,
Yes.
Dr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mayor Kinnear,
Yes.
unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. Who'd like to kick us off for reports and communication? So we're getting into that.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. I have nothing to report.
Okay, thank you for kicking us off.
Good start, Matt.
Great.
Well done, Mr. Scott.
Okay, since we're over that direction, Rob.
All right, I'll go. I have not met with the HBC as of yet, nor the Municipal Alliance, but we did have what I would consider it was a throwback to a lengthy Board of Ed meeting on the 27th, I believe. On the 29th, sorry. We went through lots of things. These microphones are
I
very
know.
sensitive.
Maybe if we push it straight up and see if that
Sorry.
helps.
We went over test scores, which were good. Still seeing some COVID deficits. Yeah, interesting COVID results still, I think. They also had some conversation with our friend Jenny Saki, who's I think here, regarding the ITA and the importance to schools. We actually got the approval for the hot box for the construction that morning, which was exciting. We're going to have some follow-up discussions on the landscaping, beautification, whatever we're going to call it, in the next week or two, probably. They had some ethics trainings, which was fun. I've only sat through those like 6 or 7 times in my life. I probably could have gone to that meeting a little later than usual. And some conversations about school safety officers. I know there's some ongoing conversations with town. And that's it, I think, for that meeting.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, good.
First of all, I'd like to say congratulations, Lisa, on your reelection to the Township Committee. It's well earned. It's a well earned win for your commitment to what you do, and you do it for what's best for Cranberry, and the work and time you put in to being mayor. It hasn't been an easy year, and but there's also lots of rewards, and I know that you feel that way. Also, I look forward to continue serving with these other 3 hardworking, conscientious members. And I'd really just like to thank the Cranberry residents. Wouldn't be doing this without the residents that make this town. We could talk about infrastructure, or we could talk about playground equipment, but it's really the residents. I'm really truly honored to serve for another 3 years, and I appreciate those who open their doors while I campaign door to door and provide friendly conversation encouragement. You just said that with Richard. It's really the people. Couldn't really do it without friends and family, because I was reelected as well as Lisa, and I just wanted to say Cranberry is truly a remarkable small town and community that I'm really eager and proud to represent. And most of all, I think it's really important that you realize we all call this home. So I just wanted to say that. And I want to thank the clerk for running a very smooth election.
Thank you,
And
Barbara.
the results came out so quickly this year.
They sure did.
They really did. So thank you, and thank you all the poll workers.
Thanks.
Anyway, two boards and commissions, the zoning board met, but I was unable to make it. The shade tree, I received a summary from the chairperson, and they met on Thursday of last week. People I don't think realize with this rain that we are really in a drought condition still in New Jersey. It's a drought warning. We're not in a complete drought. So anyway, so they have to postpone the tree plantings until spring, and it, another big thing with trees is it requires water management, and we really need to figure out how best to do that. So and continual care. So they're postponing any trees going in. Hopefully asking residents to possibly bridge gaps in tree care. Pruning will be for the next season, and the big thing was there were two shade tree events that were a giant hit. The tree walk and the library program went really well, and attendees have each requested more of the same. So maybe in the spring there'll be a walk in the Cranberry Preserve and a tree program. I think that, there was two other things. I just want to let you know that it is rutting season for deer, and the DEP put out a warning, especially now, that they're running across roads and it's really high traffic, accident season. The other thing I would just like to say, there was another member of our community that recently passed, and she's a long-term member of our community, and she impacted so many children. It was Dorothy Klotzbeecher, also lovingly known as Mrs. K. And I attended her funeral along with Iman, and I didn't realize that CPNS, the Cranberry Presbyterian Nursery School, was started in 1984, and she was the inspiration. And I just wanted to read one, without a whole big long, there's so much to say about her, but I wanted to read one paragraph, if I may. Mrs. K was more than a teacher. She taught 2.5-year-olds in music at the nursery school. Did your kids go there? Yeah. My daughter, who's now 30, went there. But I talked to others who were even older that had her. Anyway, she was more than a teacher or a leader. She was a caretaker of souls. I love that one. A friend to all and a guiding light in our community. Her legacy is woven into the very fabric of CPNS and the First Presbyterian Church, and I add, and the Township. Her love, commitment, and care will continue to shape us for years to come. As we remember Dorothy, we do so with gratitude for every song sung, every letter written, every child's heart she touched. She led the choir for many years. How many years? Many years at the tree lighting, the Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the firehouse. So, two very important residents that really, touched the community. So, that's it.
Any questions?
Short report. I did want to thank everybody who made Halloween as enjoyable and uneventful as it was. It was thankfully a warm day, unlike what it is today. And like Barbara, I did want to extend my condolences to the family of Mrs. K. And at the funeral, many people said, "Oh, did your children study under her?" And I said, "No, I did. I had Mrs. K. She was the welcoming, affectionate friend and face that welcomed me into every Christmas carol session, and just wherever we saw each other, she was just a very, very warm and welcoming person. We also had the passing from a gentleman who retired from the Township recently, Mr. Greg Farrington. So condolences to his family as well. On the same note, Barbara and Lisa, I wanted to congratulate you both on this election cycle. I am very grateful and happy to serve with both of you again. And I also wanted to thank the members who did run. Making this sort of a contested election keeps us sort of on our toes, and it's part of the democratic process. So I appreciate all those who ran, and I congratulate both of you. On the 28th, as we mentioned last meeting, Mayor Kinnear and myself, Denise, and our township attorney, as well as our planner, attended the mediation hearing regarding our affordable housing plans. And Barbara, we attended a Watershed Institute meeting.
Yeah, and I was gonna add that at the end,
At the end, okay, well, and maybe you can add some of the details, but it's basically the Millstone Regional Watershed discussion. And we are part of that discussion because the Millstone passes through a lot of the Millstone River passes through this town, and so I appreciate this regional approach to finding the solutions to problems with flooding and things like that. Maybe Barbara, you could push in with some of the details. Go ahead.
All I was going to just say is, the Watershed Institute has reached out to 10 towns to look at stormwater management on a regional level. This all has to do with this new permit, the new additions to our MS4 permitting, and there's phases, and this would be part of phase 2. Phase 1 is to map our infrastructure, our storm inlets, stormwater inlets, and this would be phase 2, which would be to find the problem areas potentially. But what we have to decide, during the next month or two, whether we want to do it as regionally or as towns, individual towns. So we're gonna just, we're gonna have a meeting with our engineer, and the Watershed Institute reached out to us to they would be leading the regional approach. And we're kind of fortunate because we're in the Stony Brook, we're Stony Brook Millstone watershed, so this regional approach would really help us.
Yeah, agreed.
And the other towns are in other watersheds, so it's a little complicated, and I was just talking about it too much. So, so anyway, whether it's regional or we do it on our own, and whether it's
Thank you for those details. On the official side, the planning board met on November 6th. I was happy to attend that meeting. And at that meeting, they approved plans for Amazon to reconstruct some of its parking lot and convert from regular parking to trailer parking. And I wanted to share this little nugget that we learned at that meeting. So typically when you have a trailer, a tractor trailer, they go to the port, they fill up with merchandise, and they come back to the warehouse to unload. And then they travel back empty to be stored either at the port or at a third party parking lot. And so that means that the tractor trailer is on the road twice. And I bring this up because we talk so much about truck traffic and the need to curb some of that and the approaches to curb some of that. Now, through this particular planning board application, we learned that, the question was raised, why are you trying to increase your trailer parking to Amazon? And they said, well, because the port no longer wants to allow us to park our vehicles there. And we have this third party site that we can park at, but we also have the land where we are. We have the space where we are. And we reduced our employee numbers by a significant enough number that we have that space. And so that will now mean that a trailer will make less trips on the road because it'll fill up at the port, come back to the warehouses, fill up the warehouses and stay there until it has to go and pick up its next load. So it was quite an interesting scenario that we thought, well, I wonder how many other businesses in town, warehouses in town are experiencing something like this. And maybe worth a little bit of research on our part. So that went through, and then we also did discuss, and I'm assuming, Mayor Kinnear, you probably have some details about the village commercial and the village residential and all that. Okay, so we did address another issue, then I will leave it to you to discuss the details of that. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. And that's it I have. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'm just wondering whether that that suggestion would be really good for the Southern Middlesex County.
I agree, but the interesting thing is, this is the third time that Amazon had come before us technically, because they came before us at the planning board, and then we said, you know what, please go back, do a little bit more work on your plan. And then they came before the DRC, and that's when they shared this aha moment, and then they shared it again with us at the planning board. It was quite a bit of news for us, I think.
But I think it would be a great comment, suggestion that because comments are still open until November 14th, I believe. So that would be really good because they are speaking to corporations as well.
You'll have them in the mayor's update tomorrow, so maybe I'll make a mention of that. The other thing that I found that was super interesting was that they had like 900 parking spots for their employees there. And through the use of like technology, everything is not as human dependent now, right? Everything is so automated that their human capital has been reduced. So if you think about those early warehouses that were built, and we were just trying to do quick math, just the Robbinsville one and ours, think about like 400 excess parking spots. How much less of a footprint could they have taken up and not had to use all of that land and just built more of a concrete jungle out there that's just sitting there with no cars parked in it? So this is where such an advanced company like that from a technology, they're a software company at the end of the day, Amazon.
Yeah.
And to not kind of think through the evolution of like just planning to me was incredible. But if you added all of that up to their warehouse structure across the country, how much land could be given back for better purposes? So that was another aha moment. I was thinking about you when we were talking about it, but it was interesting.
On that little note though, what was really nice about the application, and I think a lot of us appreciated, is they noticed areas that they could return back to nature.
That's true too, yeah.
So that was really the foresight there was very much appreciated. So they have areas of their parking lot that they're going to make green again.
It was good. It was good. Thank you for that. I actually want to just take a quick moment. I want to thank all the residents of Cranberry that voted by mail, early voted, came down to town hall. Debbie Rubin, our township clerk, and her team ran an incredible smooth election day. And also the poll workers. I wanted to congratulate Dr. Rogers on her re-election, as well as Joe Bonavolenta and Roy Barnhart for their campaigns for Township Committee. I want to congratulate the Princeton High School's varsity volleyball team as they continue to advance in postseason play, hoping these talented young ladies could potentially making it a three-peat. They won the state championships in 23 and 24, and they are looking phenomenal. We met with the planning board. We had a resident kind of challenge the agricultural ordinance that was in place. And this goes back to our master plan of when the re-examine of the master plan, when you could have agriculture not in village commercial, that they said that you could not have it in village commercial, and they lumped the village residential in with that, and it went in. So it's probably just an oversight there. And so what we're going to do, and this is through some counsel that we got, is the zoning subcommittee is going to try to tackle recreating this agricultural ordinance with some parameters. There was a tremendous amount of work that was done for other neighboring towns and how they handle it and how many chickens you can have per acre and no roosters and the coop has to be here and this high and this low and this wide and all this stuff. So we're going to try to make sense of that in the subcommittee meeting. And then we'll come back and make a recommendation to the planning board that will then make a recommendation back to the township committee. So probably a couple meetings worth to work through our count. There were a lot of bad chicken jokes.
There's
I'm just
so
going to
many
say,
jokes.
should we count them before they hatch, or you're
So
putting
many.
the chicken before it was a lot, but we'll get there. So that'll be handled by the zoning subcommittee. But I believe it was just more of a kind of a mix up in an unintended consequence of something based on the research that was done there. Anything to add on that?
I think there was also maybe just the need to define what home agriculture really means.
Yeah.
Because it's not, a tomato and a chicken are not equal.
Right. I think we made some jokes around that as well.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. Okay. All right. The League of Municipalities is coming up November 18th to 20th. I think between the three of us, we've got all of those 3 days covered in some form. It's like, listen, the small things are exciting me, but the painting has begun in our senior center. They started to paint our senior center downstairs, which is exciting. Rob and I had a very productive meeting with the Cranberry Volunteer Fire Company as we continue to look toward a district model. I've also encouraged Chief Smith, hopefully December or January, provide basically an annual report, come here down to Town Hall and give an annual report, what they've been up to, so that more residents can understand what these volunteers do for our community and the sheer numbers of the calls and the things that they do on an annual basis. Like it's better that the residents hear that. So I don't know if you have anything to add about our meeting, but it was very productive, and they came with a new budget. Obviously, everybody knows costs are going up for everything in this world. So without surprise, the budget is a little bit larger than they originally shared with residents, but there'll be time to share that publicly and go forward with that again.
Yeah, you hit on those, but I think for me, importantly, I think something similar to what the chief does for the police and report on their activity and things that they're doing, whether it's on, I think it probably should be more than annual, since right now it's not happening at all.
Yeah.
But we can certainly do it more often
Yeah.
than we do today.
Yeah, the only problem that we run into is that the fire department does their training every Monday night that we have a township committee meeting. So I don't know if that's by design or not, but unfortunately they're doing really important work for their fire company and training. So we'll just have to make an exception, maybe put him at the first of the agenda and get him in and out as fast as possible, but still get him here.
Agreed.
Yeah. I want to thank the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, what are you Scouts, for the Thanksgiving food drive. Chris Sensi in particular got very creative this year with the Cranberry, BERRY challenge. And this community responded. To put things in perspective, in 2024, we collected through that same drive 1,827 items. And in 2025, we collected 6,118 items. So with the help of our community, we're set to distribute to over 500 families this Sunday. The Skeets Pantry, led by Luther Wilson, is a blessing to many families that are struggling more than ever with SNAP benefits being withheld. I myself had to do a couple of emergency runs to a couple of families that could not make it to distribution day, that they don't have food to eat for their families. So, and then we just got a call to action for turkeys. And so that's another thing where those freezers are filling up like crazy right now. So I just really have to say, it absolutely doesn't surprise me at all that this is a really great example after coming out of some very heavy lifting for all of us in the Township of Cranberry to immediately unite on something that is meaningful, that impacts our entire community. So I was just really appreciative and happy to see it.
For all of my ranting against social media so far this year, I will say those two drives were triggered primarily on our township Facebook pages, and and yes, there's a benefit to social media.
Yes,
as well.
there is. Yes, there's your silver lining.
There you go.
Lastly, I want to warn the general public of Cranberry that my daughter acquired her driving permit today. So if everybody just buckles up, I've alerted the chief of police as well, but I've asked for a siren so that you can see her coming. But yes, we're very proud of Greta and excited that she maintains safety on the road. I hope you're watching, Greta. Okay. All right. Do we have any follow-up items?
I'm just wondering if we could put something about the deer being super active now.
Yeah, you had sent me something, and I
Yeah.
think I missed it in the mayor's update, so I'll add it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Speaking of my daughter driving, when you were talking about it, I'm like, I need to mention this to her. So I'll put it in the mayor's update tomorrow. Thanks.
Mayor, if you could just also maybe just hone in on the date for donations to Skeets Pantry.
Mhm.
It has to be made before the 16th to go out for the Thanksgiving drive.
Yeah.
And anything made after that can go with the Christmas drive.
Yeah, holiday. Yep. Yeah, with the holiday. Right. Yeah, these are our two busiest months of the year. And then we're getting a very, very large shipment tomorrow at 12:30, which I heard also a pallet of diapers, which we never get. And we're asked
That's amazing.
consistently on distribution day, do you have any coffee? which I always say no, and I wish. And do we have any diapers? So that is good news too. So that'll be great.
Very expensive.
Yeah, they are. Everything's expensive. Okay, any follow-up items? No? Okay, we'd like to make 2 mayoral appointments this evening, and then I'll read our vacancies. We're going to appoint Natalie Martins to a full member of the Environmental Commission, which expires 12/31/26, and Troy Wiley will be the first alternate for the EC, expiring in 12/31/25. So that leaves the second alternate for the EC, the zoning board, there's a second alternate, and then the municipal alliance, there's a second alternate. Okay. And then we have a brief work session where we're going to go over our potential meeting dates for 2026 meetings.
We did put these through all the different, checked all holidays, against federal, we ran these dates against the federal, state, every holiday we could think of. So hopefully we've covered that. So this is the dates that we had after doing all that. And today I was busy, so they're there. I forgot to put it out. I'm sorry. So January 2nd is, as a reminder, would be the reorg, which is at 6 p.m. So that's a Friday.
Is it in the packet?
Yeah, it's in the packet.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing? I keep missing.
It's in the electronic
It's
folder.
the second item down.
It's always the second and fourth unless we have to change to a holiday. So looks like
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, we changed it to a Tuesday. July 27th and August 24th are optional, and so is December 21st.
Yep.
Everything else is the second and fourth.
Oh, it's fun to me.
Well, that's our reorg meeting, so. Barbara won't be here for the reorg meeting.
Then she'll have to get sworn in at a different time.
Friday.
Friday the second.
Well, the first is on Thursday.
What time?
6.
No, for real.
6. Friday, yeah. We always have the reorg at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. After work. I don't know. I just work here, so it's been 6 p.m.
You make it earlier.
Yeah, you guys could change.
Yeah, that was prom, didn't work, but.
Well,
Make
also,
it earlier than 6.
isn't it usually we have people from for the swearing ins? I mean, is that part of it?
on a Monday? No, we have to get the reorg done or we can conduct any business.
That's important.
Yeah.
Some people actually do it on the first.
Don't
We want to-
you dare.
I'd rather not do it on
Correct.
I'm okay with the first.
I'm not.
No.
Okay, second at 6 p.m. Okay. So we're good.
Everything else is good.
Yeah.
All right. So then the annual calendar will be what you guys vote on at the reorg, and that's the calendar for all the boards and commissions.
We don't take the budget meeting.
We didn't do that yet. No.
We usually know around that one, right?
I wait for the assessment value to come in. If I don't have that, we can't do it. So. And my AFS has to be done, so typically by the end of January, I know where we are with numbers.
That was a pretty brief working session. Well done.
That was very good.
We do our best.
Have you, just a quick question, have all the boards and commissions provided their budgets to you? Or do we need to nudge anybody?
No, I don't need to nudge anybody. If I need to nudge them, don't worry, I will. I've been doing this a long time.
Good, Terry?
Oh, good.
All right. We have 2 first readings this evening.
So the first ordinance that we have on for first reading is Cranberry Township Ordinance number 11-25-12, accepting a conservation easement over sections of property designated as Block 1, Lots 2Q, 3Q, 8, 8Q, 10, and 10Q on Cranberry Township tax map. Second reading of this ordinance will be November 24th, 2025. If we can have a motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We'll move on to roll call for this ordinance. Mr. Christopher,
Yes.
Mrs. Elbadawi,
Yes.
Dr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mayor Knierim.
Yes.
It's unanimous, and then we'll move on to the second is Cranberry Township Ordinance number 11-25-13, capital ordinance authorizing the acquisition of 1274 South River Road and associated closing costs for the affordable housing senior units by the Township of Cranberry, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,510,000 from Cranberry Township Affordable Housing Trust Fund to cover the cost thereof. Second reading of that ordinance also will be November 24th, 2025. If we can have a motion for introduction.
Also so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We'll move on to roll call. Mr. Christopher,
Yes.
Mrs. Elbadawi,
Yes.
Dr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mayor Knierim.
Yes.
It's unanimous. I'm going to have to follow up these microphones on feedback, by the way.
We don't have any second readings this evening. I'd like to get a motion to move consent resolutions A through F as a whole, unless anyone would like to pull out any one particular consent resolution.
Pull out D. Resolution D, please.
D.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the Cranberry Resolution R11-25-141 in support of the Immigrant Trust Act.
Yeah, I just would like to voice my support for this resolution. We generally on the TC try to avoid national issues, but sometimes national issues become local issues. And the federal government who it's being run by, are really affecting our friends and neighbors. And I think that our voicing support for this resolution is important. I'm very happy with what we're doing.
Can I just piggyback and say I'm really happy that we're doing this too. It's, thanks Mayor here for leading us along this way. Jenny Saki, you should feel very proud of yourself and the group that did come to share and educate and really push this message forward. Thank you.
I'll jump in there too and just say that in the conversations I've had with folks in town, they've all been extremely supportive once I explained to them what the ITA actually was. And I think the vast majority of our friends and neighbors are in support.
So having pulled that out, can we now go back?
So you have to do a motion from A through C and E and F, and you have to do that.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve A through C, E, and F?
I approve everything except for D.
You move.
Mhm.
I move.
Okay, so we have that motion. Who's second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to roll call for those items. Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Mrs. Elbadawi?
Yes.
Dr. Rogers? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Knierim?
Yes.
Thank you. And now you can move on to D. Motion.
Motion to approve consent resolution D.
Second.
Second.
Move on to roll call. Mr. Christopher?
Yes.
Mrs. Elbadawi?
Yes.
Dr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Knierim?
Yes.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now is our time for public comment. If there's anyone here from the public that would like to make a public comment, please just come up, state your name, your address, push the button on the right till it keeps red, and we'll start your clock at 3 minutes.
None?
Oh, I'm beginning to memorize people's addresses. That's not a bad
Don't
thing.
say that
It's
out
not a
loud.
bad thing. It means you're coming and you're participating in meetings. So yeah, but now I feel like I know where people live. I don't mean that in a stalkery way. There you go. Perfect.
So, good evening. Again, I'm Jenny Pisaki from Cranberry. Number one, I wanted to congratulate Mayor Knierim and Dr. Rogers on their elections and being reelected, and thank you for your ongoing service to Cranberry. In addition to that, I wanted to thank you for putting the Immigrant Trust Act on the agenda for this evening and voting in favor of it. I just wanted to let you know a couple of updates. Number one, the city of New Brunswick unanimously also created a resolution in favor of the Immigrant Trust Act. We would also have more people here this evening speaking on behalf, but there happens to be a meeting going on right now in Mercer County to try to get the entire county on board with the ITA. And on the 17th of this month, Middlesex County will be hopefully putting it on their agenda. They've already met once about it. So I just wanted to let you know you're in good company. We're continuing to push this forward, and I greatly, greatly appreciate the fact that the whole committee and the attorneys who may not be here, but that you really considered it greatly, and you weighed all the options, and you voted in favor of it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Any other public comment this evening? Go once, go twice? Okay, all right. Okay, we'll close public comment at this time, and what action items have we needed to capture? I didn't really hear one.
Checking on the audio.
Checking
That's
on
me.
feedback.
I got a note. I'll
What?
check on it. The
What?
microphones. Everything's set up normal.
Oh,
So
Nothing.
nothing is,
Nothing.
nothing's like out of the ordinary, so I don't understand. Keep checking it, but
There were just a few items you did put in the mayor's update, but I didn't see anything.
Good. Dear. Got it. Okay. That's it.
motion to
Can I get a
adjourn
motion to adjourn?
before 8. Second.
Second.
Woo! All in favor?
Hi.
Alrighty.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Closed
done.
session. We get
45
to-
minutes.
When was the last time? It's before 8 o'clock. Seriously.
For real, I mean, it's only happened, what, twice this year?
Okay. Okay. Which date? Okay.
Because it's winter and so they say the movie
Right.
come, yeah, so that's.
Okay. Yeah, because that one's on Tuesday because of Memorial Day and town hall's closed. So that's why that one's moved to Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah, so
Keep me
that's
posted.
the only one that.
Okay, keep me posted. Thank you, Mon.
He was overrunning.
A quarter.
I'm taking it